Mamma mia! That direct though. Okay, so basically, we knew that the 35th anniversary of Mario was coming up soon, and all year long there's been these rumours that there's going to be this collection of at least the games Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. And I did the very wise thing, if I may toot my own horn, of holding on to a remaining digital game voucher left over from an NSO thing, because what I try and do when I'm buying a full price £50 Nintendo game is, if I can, is instead use a discount to get some Switch credit to buy the £80 double pass thing, because it's just cheaper that way, and Nintendo never put their games on sale. So I did that to buy a game like at the beginning of the year, and I was like, there's nothing else I really want. Like, there's stuff that looks interesting, but I'll save it for if anything comes out during the year that I really want. And lo and behold, I'm in a situation where I shouldn't just drop £50 on a game, and this got announced, and I'm able to, the 35th collection, that is, the All-Stars 3D collection, and I'm in a position where I'm able to just redeem my remaining game token for that. So I'm very glad that I listened to rumours and planned that accordingly, and I'm quite chuffed with myself. But more on that later. Let's go through this bit by bit. First of all, I don't know why, but I did not expect this to come in the form of a direct, mostly because I was so focused on the 3D All-Stars collection. I didn't really stop to think about what else they would do with the 35th anniversary. Like, I assumed the usual, like, My Nintendo stuff and all that, but they actually had way more than I was expecting, and this was an absolute treat to watch through. First of all, it opens on the very nostalgia-based, which I guess a lot of this direct even is, Game & Watch thing, which is apparently like $50. I'm British, so I'm guessing that's about 50 quid, because people like to pretend that it's a direct conversion when it's not. And yeah, it looks cool. It's like, I don't know much about what Game & Watches even are. I'm surprised they're still making them, although this might be the first one they've made in years. I don't know. But as far as I can tell, it's got like Mario 1 and the Lost levels on it, and it also functions as a clock, and there's like Easter eggs in the clock. It ain't my jam personally, but I can see the appeal of it, and I guarantee that it will be selling for like £200-300 in a few months when it's out of stock. Okay, so this is the first real big thing. Okay, so apart from the 3D All-Stars collection, the other rumoured part of the whole Mario anniversary was that 3D World would finally be making its way to the Switch, and as someone who dodged a bullet and never owned a Wii U, I am absolutely delighted to see it making the jump. It looks really good. It's like, I've never properly played through either 3D Land or 3D World. I got 3D Land for free back at the start of when I got my 3DS. Nintendo goofed up somehow and they gave everyone a choice of a free game, and I chose 3D Land. And as with a lot of Mario games, I didn't really play through much of it for whatever reason, but I have it on my 3DS. It's somewhere behind me on my bookshelf, and I think I'm actually going to pull it out and play through it at some point soon, because I did like what I did play of it. Sorry, my voice appears to be dying on me. This is really well timed. Thanks, body. But yeah, I'm super interested in 3D World. It looks like they're giving it some love. A lot more love than the original 3D Mario games anyway. We'll get to that soon. But apparently they've like sped up the gameplay because it was criticised for being slow. And it looks like they're adding new content for it as well. So 7 years later, you get some, or 8 years later it will be at this point. So it's nice that Wii U owners have something to be excited about as well, although they're yet to see what the actual scope of that is, if it's like a full-on expansion of extra levels, or whatever the heck it is. Lots of speculation about that going on right now. But I've always loved or I guess I haven't always, because I didn't fucking play 3D Land through, but recently I've come to really appreciate the way that the 3D Land and 3D World games seem to take the spirit of the 2D games and put them into a 3D space, because when Super Mario 64 was made, it was one of the first, if not the first, 3D platformer game, and so while it was definitely intended to be like, or at least I imagine it was intended to be, a 3D rendition of the 2D Mario games, it wasn't exactly well realised in that way, if you know what I mean. It's very unique, it's very well loved for a reason, but at the same time there's a lot of things where you play Mario 64 and then you play the 2D Mario games, and you can obviously see that it's the same universe, the same kind of style of game, but at the same time there's a lot that's different, both visually and just in like what the worlds are and what some of the enemies are. And I'm guessing the reason that they went back and made 3D Land and 3D World is because now we exist in a time where it's a lot easier to develop a 3D game. We have a lot more knowledge on how to do it, and they wanted to really try and get the 2D games, the feel for them, in a 3D landscape, and I think at least it looks like it achieves that brilliantly, and I'm looking forward to playing through that because, I don't know, I'm starting to realise that I really fucking like Mario games. Who would have thought? I did grow up in a PlayStation household, so yeah, we'll get more into that when we get to the All-Stars collection like I mentioned, but there's a lot of old Nintendo games that I never really got a chance to play. But you know, I had Crash Bandicoot, so I did alright. Super Mario 35 was a surprise, not gonna lie. I'm not sure how to feel about it because it does look fun, but at the same time, Tetris 99 also looks fun, and I really like Tetris, but I've never played much of it, and I think part of it is because it just comes with Nintendo Switch Online, and there's definitely an element of when you spend money on a game, you value it more in a way. I know that sounds really weird and capitalist and dystopian, but trust me, at least for my brain it's true. When I spend money on a game, I definitely value it more. I guess because I'm like, I've got to get my money's worth out of this, but it's more like this kind of stupid idea of ownership, which isn't even true in a digital space, but that's just the way my brain works, I guess. But I think the other half of it is, I never got the sense that I was controlling, you know, what I was dishing out and what was happening to me when I was playing Tetris 99, and I'm concerned that this Mario 35 thing looks like more of the same in that regard. Also, I don't currently have NSO, and it's going away on March 21st, 2021. I think that's the date anyway, and I don't know if I will get NSO by then to try it out, and I think it's so dumb that they're limiting it. I don't know if they're going to do something like, then they're going to go on and do like a Zelda 35 because it'll be Zelda's anniversary around then. I just think that they're creating this sense of fear of missing out to get people to buy a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, which is not something that's particularly new when it comes to online services. Single player games, on the other hand, we'll get to it. Apparently Mario Kart Live pissed off a whole bunch of fans who were wanting Mario Kart 9, but I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is great, so I think Mario Kart Live looks amazing, to be honest. I think it's a really fucking fun idea, and kid me would love this, and since I never grew up, I love this. I'm not gonna get it because it's like $100, which means it'll be £100 because currency conversion apparently doesn't exist. But this is definitely something I could see kid me seeing in the Argos catalogue and being like, the idea is just simply cool. You've got a fucking physical like RC Mario Kart that you control from your Switch. It's got a camera on it, so the fucking world around you is the track. And then like you can put real obstacles like chairs and stuff in the way, and hopefully the game reacts to them in a meaningful way. Seeing as it's AR, you're probably going to have stuff like shells going through chair legs. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. But it looks like you can put like checkpoints down and like make your own courses and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be awesome for kids. For parents, it's going to be a bloody nightmare. And then you've got all of the My Nintendo faff, and like they're peddling a lot of their merch and stuff, and yeah, it looks cool, but that's not what we're here for. And it's at this point that most of us moused over the video to see how far through it we were, like, wait, shit, are they not doing the remakes? Oh, wait a minute, we're only halfway through the video, and yep, there they fucking are. It's called Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and it consists of Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. And I'm very, very excited, especially since it's coming out in 2 weeks, and especially since I saved that digital game voucher in the hopes that this very thing existed. And look, first I'll tell you, my history with these games is I played through Super Mario 64 DS, I beat it, and I think I might have even beaten it twice because it was that fun. So I've played like the first level of Sunshine and the first level of Galaxy, but as I said, back in the day I didn't really appreciate the 3D Mario games, and now I really, really, really want them. Again, and I'm really happy to be able to have them on my Switch, so I'm very, very excited for these to land. Here's the thing though, they're not perfect. In fact, they look like quite lazy ports, to be honest, especially Super Mario 64, which isn't even getting a widescreen option. What's the deal with that? It's going to feel so much less authentic, which sounds dumb considering 5x4 was the initial aspect ratio. But playing that in handheld mode on Switch, which is what you bet I'm going to be doing, with the black bars on the side, it's going to feel like I'm playing it on an emulator. Like, the reason I'm not emulating this game is because I want to have the official version. I want to be able to take clips of it on my Switch and stuff and share that I'm playing it and have like a save file that I'm invested in, and not have to worry about emulation glitches and all that kind of stuff. And also, I guess I've been fucking sold on the idea of the official version of games because I'm a capitalist whore. Except I'm not really, just my subconscious is, I guess. But if you look at these ports, like, yeah, Sunshine's going to be in widescreen now, that's nice. And they're going to run at 1080p, Sunshine and Galaxy, on a PC screen. And I believe Mario textures have been up-resed and stuff. But it's still not much that's been done to these games, especially when you consider that the original All-Stars collection, which I think I actually skipped over, is also coming to the SNES Virtual Console thing for NSO subscribers. The original All-Stars, it like remade the games, it redid the graphics. I'm not saying that these need to be full-on remakes because that's a lot of work, and if I'm being perfectly honest, before this Direct all I really cared about was being able to own and play these games on Switch. I didn't really care about what kind of a quality they even arrived in, but now that we know more about it, I am a bit like, well, look, it's 4x3 for Super Mario 64, or 5x4, or whatever primitive thing it is. That's just gonna feel weird, right? That's gonna feel half done. In fact, I remember when I beat Super Mario Odyssey and you got to the very nostalgic Mushroom Kingdom level at the end there, and I was running around in the retro Mario costume as well, I was like, I would absolutely love a remake of Super Mario 64 in Odyssey's engine. And what I was picturing there was just the same game but in widescreen. So I guess it actually does fall short of my initial hopes, in that it's not widescreen. And the reason why I think it's so important to criticize this and to bring your attention to it is because Nintendo have this vault of really old games which they know that they can put out there and people will buy and give them money for, and they're really restrictive about it. They purposefully are very restrictive about it, and I was thinking about this last night. One of the many reasons I really wanted a Switch was because I missed out on the Wii U, and I saw that the Wii U had loads of really good Virtual Console stuff, and I wanted a large part of my Switch experience to be what I assumed would be a very robust, similar Virtual Console experience of, hey, I never did play like that old Zelda game, I could just go buy it for like £6 and play it. I don't know if some of the later ones were that cheap, but you know what I mean, like, I just kind of assumed I'd be able to play like the Nintendo 64 version of Ocarina of Time on my Switch, and nope, can't do that. They never got around to doing that, and I, at first, because I bought a Switch very early in its life cycle, I assumed it was something they were going to add later, but as they added the NES and SNES libraries to the online subscription, I slowly realised that's not what they're doing. And last night, while I was thinking about it, I kind of realised why. It's because the Wii U was such an underperforming console that they had to pull out all the stops to try and sell it. And one of the ways they did that was by having a really good Virtual Console library and being like, hey, if you want to play like a whole bunch of old Nintendo games portably-ish, because we've got the, handheld tablet thing, you can. And like, that was something that a lot of people were like, okay, well, the Wii U's not doing very good, but at least, like, I've heard multiple people be like, it's my classic Nintendo games console, that's what I use it for. The Switch, on the other hand, sold fantastically, has a massive install base, and therefore it's in their best interests to kind of restrict access to these older games so that they can drip feed them out across the console's life cycle, and people will go nuts for them because there'll be a lot of hype drummed up about them, and it'll be like, people like me who are like just assuming that this stuff was going to come with the Switch will be like, oh, finally I can play Super Mario 64 on my Switch, instant buy, obviously no brainer, but like it's like more of a guaranteed kind of a purchase deal, if you know what I mean. And I get angry when people assume things about developer intentions for games, about how like, people think that quests are designed in World of Warcraft on like a weekly basis to force people to spend more on subscriptions and stuff like that. I don't like people being that cynical, but when it comes to the business side of things, like what publishers are doing, I feel like it's more okay to be cynical, because they're going to be looking at things more cynically. They're going to be less passionate about the games, because they're in it to make money. That's their job. And I haven't even brought it up yet, but look at the fact that the not just physical edition of this game, but the digital edition of the 3D All-Stars game is time limited. After March, you will apparently not be able to purchase 3D All-Stars. And some people have taken that to mean that, oh, they're going to sell them separately for, like, more money. Which, first of all, that's a shitty business practice anyway. And second of all, that's not guaranteed. If you look at the way Nintendo have handled things like this in the past, they have just taken it away. And they might make less money that way. But also, they're reinforcing the idea that when these things are temporary, and they're here to stay temporarily, it's going to get more people to be like, shit, I need to buy this right now, and like give Nintendo money within a certain period of time, you know? It's going to get people more like, oh, I need to buy a Switch for this holiday season, I've been holding off. But if I don't buy a Switch this holiday season, then I'm not going to have a chance to buy this collection. By the time I actually have enough money to buy a Switch, you know, fucking responsibly. And it's okay for people like me who saved up this digital voucher months in advance because they pay attention to rumours and stuff. But for people who are just like, oh sweet, they've redone the Marios, but they don't own a Switch and they're not earning a lot of money and they really, really want to play this collection, and they're like, or maybe they even have a Switch but they're not earning a lot of money and they really want this collection but they're not going to be able to buy it, you know, until they've saved for a while. That's super shitty that you can't do that. And if you are one of those people, DM me if you have a PC, because I have a version of Mario that you might be interested in, and I'm very happy to share since Nintendo are pulling this kind of shit. So yeah, I'm very annoyed at Nintendo's business sense for this kind of thing. Nintendo, one of those companies who are famous for just doing absolutely leave me absolutely flabbergasted for like the way they do things and the reasoning behind doing things. They are so strange. It's like Bungie trying to make an MMO. No, I'm sorry, I do like Destiny. You know what I mean though, it's like half the things you hear about their business decisions and the way they do things, it's like, why though? Why are you doing that? It's, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, basically I'm extremely excited for this collection, but I'm really peeved off about how they're delivering it to us, both in the quality of the ports, and the quality of just them being human beings and allowing people to own this game if they don't earn as much money and they have to save for it down the road, you know. And of course the usual business skullduggery when it comes to limiting physical editions so that scalpers and stuff will be reselling it. The digital version, limiting that though, is especially like opaque. Like, it's so obvious that you have no reason to limit a digital version of a game. It doesn't cost them anything to, or like, if it does, it costs an extremely minute amount to distribute a new game digitally via the eShop. Like, come on, we're not stupid. We recognise that this is such like yeah, I've rambled about this for too long. I don't want to go too negative about this, because at the end of the day I am extremely excited that these games are finally coming to Switch and that I'm able to own them, and in 2 weeks time you better believe I'm sitting down and playing those games. I'm going to try and play through all of them, Super Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy, one after the other. Maybe not immediately one after the other, but definitely like, I'm not going to be like dabbling in the free, like at the same time. I'm going to do it 1, 2, 3 kind of a deal. And if you're interested to see some highlights from that, I can't like record my Switch the way I can record like gameplay from my PC or my PS4, but I do have a separate Twitter account for shares, because you can upload 30-second shares from a Nintendo Switch, and I assume that these games are going to work with that feature. If not, well, I mean, you know. But assuming they do, give me a follow on Kritigri. So my usual Twitter account obviously is Kritigri. Kritigri is where you go for Switch shares. You can see me goofing and failing and dying in some of the 2D Marios recently. Some of the older ones of those, because I do have a 7-day trial of a Nintendo Switch Online thing, so I could redeem my digital voucher. So I was like, hey, while I'm here, I'll dip my toe into the All-Stars collection on the SNES. So yeah, thank you for listening to this ramble. Well, it's not a ramble, is it? It's a fort song. It has a name. and I'm about to go and record one for the World of Warcraft Maldraxxus thing. And then I'm going to get back to playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, because upcoming thoughts on that as well. That's a fantastic fucking game. Anyway, ta-ra.